Hello again, guys. This is Keith with Bulletproof RC, and I'm back with you again to share a new kit. I have the Losi Ten SCBE. Now, the Losi Ten SCBE is based off the Losi SCTE 2.0. It's in buggy form now, and I think it looks cool. Now, behind me over here, you see the Axial EXO. I've had two of those, and I can say that the EXO is a very, very cool vehicle. Of course, Axial has some durability issues with some of their vehicles, and the EXO's no stranger to that. I've actually had to put quite a few upgrades into it. With a Losi product, you don't have to do a lot to them to make them run well. And I've owned both the SCTE and the SCTE 2.0. Both vehicles were very durable and performed quite well. I have high hopes for this guy. I do have a number of upgrades to put in it. I'll go over that in a minute, but it really doesn't need upgrades, but I already had some on hand. I'll explain in a minute. I'm going to get this unboxed and let's take a closer look. Alright guys, she's all unboxed, and so far so good. The standard fare DX2E remote that Losi packages with their RTRs, standard fare with AVC included. It feels very light in the hands. The plastics don't feel quite as, I don't know, maybe the same plastics, but just feels kind of cheap compared to what I remember with the SCTE 1.0 that I had. I was thinking I had a rubberized grip. Now it's just a plastic wheel. I may be wrong on that. I've had a number of remotes, so I could be getting it confused. But all in all, I'm going to keep this remote with this vehicle because I do like the AVC feature. But let's move this out of the way because you've seen this. Alright. Now, one of the first things I noticed out of the box is the tires. I'm not real happy with them, guys. It's a new design for Losi, but they feel very hard. The compound is not what I expected at all. I've owned several Losi vehicles, and all of the Losi vehicles I've had thus far have had very soft compound, race-worthy tires, and these are more like what you would expect to be on a Traxxas RTR. And I'm not talking about the super soft compound they offer in the Pro Series. I'm talking about the standard fare stuff. So anyway, that's not good. But it being a four-wheel drive car, it probably will do okay with those tires. The next thing I'll mention is this is basically the SCTE 2.0 RTR chassis that we're used to seeing. A lot of the components that were used in the SCTE 2.0 have been reused here. They did improve the electronics a tad. The ESC is the same. That's a 130 amp fuse dynamite ESC. That's a very good ESC. There's next to zero cogging on that ESC, no matter what motor you pair it with. It runs, I think, up to a 4,000 kV motor on 3S effortlessly, and it can do a, I think, up to a 2400 kV motor on 4S. But now I haven't looked at those specs in a while, so I may be a little bit off there. This motor is new. This is the same motor that they're going to be offering in the Losi Baja Ray that's coming next month. The SCTE 2.0 RTR had a 3900 kV motor, and it was more of a 540 sized, which was quite a bit shorter. This is more of a 550 size can, and I'm expecting good things out of this motor. The fused motors are very efficient, and they perform quite well, and this appears to be a good fit for this vehicle. I'll let you know after we run it. What I'm going to do, instead of going through all the features, I'm going to talk about what's different. The SCTE 2.0 and 1.0 came with pressed aluminum shock towers. And it looks like they've opted out to go that direction, and they've got a plastic shock tower now. I'm sure the plastic's fine. Losi makes, good products. I don't think there's going to be an issue with that. One thing I was disappointed in is that they've changed the shocks. The SCTE and 2.0 versions have aluminum shock bodies. This one they've opted out and went with plastic, and they've also got the stupid preload clips. I hate those things. When the old shocks had retaining rings that you could twist down, and they were adjustable. So anyway, it looks like the same turnbuckles, same A-arms. Everything looks, the bumper's new, of course, but everything appears to be, the motor mount, the center diff, everything is exactly what you would find in a 2.0 RTR. Has the aluminum chassis, of course. All that's the same as the 2.0. So anyway, all in all, it's a very cool looking vehicle, and it if it performs anything like the 2.0, I'm sure it's going to be great. One thing I am disappointed in, which is nothing new, is the exposed receiver. And they chose to do this when they went from the SCTE 1.0 to the 2.0. They decided to shave off a few grams of weight and eliminate the radio box. I have no idea how, I don't know, 0.0004 grams is going to affect the overall balance of a vehicle. But anyway, a radio box to me would have been a much wiser choice. When you think about it, maybe the buggy body will help some of the dirt debris not go in there, but on the SCTE, when you turn to the right and you're kicking it with this four-wheel drive, guess what's right in line with all the dirt and debris and mud and water and everything else that you may run into? Goes right into your receiver, excuse me. And the same thing for the ESC on the other side. Moving it up front puts it in line for all the debris. Now, again, with the buggy body, it's probably not going to be an issue because you've got a guard here with the body. So I think that's going to be an improvement over the short course truck. But I'm going to pause the video one more time because I got some other things to show you. I'm going to quickly go over a couple of plans I have for this vehicle. When Losi announced their release of this product, I immediately decided to sell my Losi SCTE 1.0. Now, I had a number of upgrades on that vehicle, and I removed the upgrades from the vehicle before I sold it. And I sold the vehicle for the exact amount of money that I needed to buy this buggy. So it was almost an even swap for me. And now I have Losi's newest vehicle on the 10 platform, and all the nice upgrades that's required to make it just amazing. Now again, you could run this thing as is. I plan to do that. I'm going to run it in the stock RTR fashion with the stock tires and shock bodies and shock towers and all that stuff, and just see how everything holds up. But then after that, I'm going to install all these parts and see what the advantages are to having them. A couple things I have, as you can see, I do have some trencher tires that have. These are actually the Losi 22 rims, same rims that's on the vehicle. They just have the orange beads on them. Those beads, by the way, I ordered them. They were white, and I put them in some RIP dye and dyed them orange. It's not a perfect match, but it'll be close enough. And got aluminum TLR rear hubs, Integra front hubs and knuckles in aluminum. Got carbon fiber front and rear shock tower and front top plate, TLR shocks. I've got hot racing aluminum bell crank system just to tighten up that steering a little bit. This is TLR front and rear pivot blocks. And then I also have clamping wheel hexes here to go on there. This basically is just something I saw on Losi's website when this buggy was announced, and it's some sort of adapter or spacer set when you're using a aluminum shock tower on this buggy. So I figure since I'm going with the carbon fiber, I would need this. So we'll see. Got T-Bone Racing front skid plate and DE Racing rear skid. I went ahead and purchased a 2.0 Flex Tune chassis. I got the Hot Racing motor mount that was on my SCTE. It's got the dual bearings up front. Since you've got the angle on the front drive shaft, it keeps the wear down. Having that extra bearing up on there out drive, it actually protects that. I guess the angle force on that would put a little stress on that out drive. It kind of corrects that. Hot Racing aluminum center diff cup, and inside there is MIP super diff components to make that diff indestructible. I actually did blow a couple of center diffs on my SCTE before I did the MIP super diff conversion. This is a Sumo Racing carbon fiber fan top plate just to keep the motor cool, because I do plan to run 3S in this bad boy. That is a TLR adjustable battery strap right there. A little easier to adjust between. I've got a pretty tall 3S battery and my 2S battery's not, so I'm going to be going back and forth between those two. And rather than having to pull the wrenches out every time I change batteries, which would be necessary for the stock battery strap, I just decided to go ahead and go that route. And then I'm sure that you guys have noticed that I have a receiver box on this chassis. This is actually the Losi 8 3.0 battery box. And guess what? Bolts right in, buddy. Not a single modification that needs to be done. It's just there. It's bolted down. The servo mounts right up just like the SCTE. And then in the end, you've got a nice radio box that looks factory. There is one mod you have to do though. I haven't done it yet. When I pull the side rails off the side of that buggy and mount them here, I've heard you have to Dremel on this side a little bit just to make it fit. But it's very, very mild modification. So anyway, looking forward to doing that. Anyway, guys, that's the plans. I'm gonna run this thing stock, and then I'm gonna add some upgrades on it, and we're gonna see where we go from there. But in the end, I'll have a full-blown Losi SCBE 2.0. But anyway, if the shoe fits, guys, like and subscribe, and as always, thanks for watching, and have a great day.